Hey, I'm Micah, and this is Micah's Media Recap, a little podcast where I yap about whatever I'm watching at the moment. If you want to join me, you can put this on while you do your chores, your crafts, hell, even while you're trying to sleep. I'd love if you would lend me your ear for a little while. Way back in 2020, to pass the time, I came up with a goal for myself to be more adventurous with the kind and amount of movies I was watching. Not only has it brought me the highest of highs, it also has helped me get through the lowest of lows. 2025 was a challenge in so many ways, but the bright spot that it brought me was watching the most movies in a year so far. So I thought, what better way to usher in the new year than to wrap up the old one with a little rundown of the highlights of what I've watched. Not counting short films, I watched 152 movies in 2025. Of those 152, 27 of them were rewatches. That's 17%. Most of those were out of a need to share certain things I've seen. Showing someone a movie they haven't seen is one of my favorite ways to spend time together. Unsurprising for anyone who knows me, my most watched genre is horror. 94 horror movies out of the overall 152, so 61%. Considering my top 5 movies that came out this year, that makes a whole lot of sense. That list goes as follows. Number 5 was Mickey 17. Now this one was a real surprise. I'm not hardcore into sci-fi, but I have become pretty fond of Robert Pattinson post-Twilight, so I had to give it a chance. And man was I glad I did. Not only was the concept interesting in a philosophical sort of way, it gave the chance for a lot of wackiness that poked in my brain just right to run the edge between disturbing and hilarious. Another highlight was Robert Pattinson flexing his acting chops to play multiple versions of himself. Like Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, his ability to make each of them uniquely distinct was impressive enough to be a reason to check it out. Number 4 was K-pop Demon Hunters. I wasn't sure about this one going in, but let me tell you, all the hype was right. The animation was amazingly charming, the songs were way too catchy, and the story of self-acceptance was super heartwarming. Number 3 was Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Not too much of a shock for me. I'm still working my way through his catalog, but the ones I've seen, I've all loved. Personally, I can't speak on book accuracy and how well he translated the original themes of the story. There's a great video by Princess Weeks that I'll link down below about that. But I loved what story was told in this adaptation. Sure, some of it was a little in your face, but I enjoy the narrative about the familial cycles of abuse. What was a shock about it was Jacob Elordi's range. His physicality and facial acting made the character. I didn't know he had it in him. Number 2 was The Long Walk. This one's a little difficult to discuss at the moment. It's my most recent watch, and the feelings are still very fresh. But what I can say is that it was somehow one of the most bleak, but also the most human movies I've watched this year. Maybe after some time and a rewatch, I'll return to it on the pod. And number 1 was Sinners. Best vampire movie I've seen in a long while. I actually got the chance to watch this one in theaters, and oh my god, it was the best way to view it. You could feel the music in your chest, which of course is a huge part of the movie. Because while it isn't a musical, the music feels like a presence itself in the film. There's a great blend of genres that way. Musical, historical, horror. It doesn't need my endorsement though. I feel like this was one of the most talked about movies of the year, and it more than deserves it. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I'll give a shout out to my worst movie that came out this year, Fear Street Prom Queen. They really shit the bed with this one. There was so much built-in hype after the success of the original trilogy, and what did they do with it? Absolutely wasted it, with lazy 80s nostalgia bait and boring characters, delivering the most uninspired, awkward dialogue. I had to watch this movie on 1.5 speed just to get through it. It was such a tough watch. We have to move on from this topic right now, or I'll go on forever, I swear. You can drop recommendations in the comments if you'd like, though I can't promise I'll be able to get to everything with any speed, considering how many I already have lined up. I'll also link my Letterboxd below if you're interested in checking that out. In a similar vein, my Tumblr and Blue Sky will also be down there if you want to come say hi. Thank you for listening to my movie rundown of 2025. I don't know how this new year will go, but I hope it'll be uneventful in the best ways for all of us.